has been demon possessed, and her demon possession has brought her low, that she was bent over, she couldn't stretch straight. On the Sabbath, this Sabbath, after all the things I've said about this Sabbath, and the people have gathered and they were protecting the Sabbath. No work should be done on the Sabbath. No healing should be done on the Sabbath. Then Jesus says, woman, come. Then the woman came forward. And he says, demon, get out of her. And the demon leaves. And the woman is freed. And the ruler of the synagogue comes and says, you people, if you look at the text, the ruler didn't address Jesus because he knew he could not control Jesus, but he could control the people. So he said, you people, you have 6 days to do your work. If you want healing, come here for healing, but not on the Sabbath. Then Jesus saw the hypocrisy of the ruler of the synagogue and the people. That this woman, every Sabbath, she comes to this church to worship. She comes to this church to worship, and you see her. In this situation, you see her. Nobody has done anything to help her. Even the 6th day that you work, why don't you see her on Sunday and tell her, come on this day, I will heal you? This woman was just there. And so long as this woman continued to suffer and no law of the Sabbath was broken, the church was happy. Because they were keeping the tradition. The tradition says on the Sabbath, we don't do this here. So I wonder what they were doing on the Sunday or on the Sabbath. They go, they listen, and they leave. No miracle, no prayer, nothing. You must not do something which suggests that you are exerting a lot of energy. And so the ruler was okay when the woman continued in her situation because no Sabbath law was broken. Obey bre. Oba sorry de bia no kofie. Ba sorry de bia oh ebe yewa no ko. Be yewa no ko. Then one day the master healer enters. Waba sorry danu. Wakasa watia boni no we free no so. Oba no ho ato no. Oba no ho to ne wie no. Wonga waye wadwen se ye de amamre we yi a yekura mu yi ye mu obi mesɛe no e ho na se o mo kasa e kire se ni Yesu aye no ye ni nye ho enenke ni se o mama mi ayaresa o mo nko nanka nansia na Awurade se ye nye ye adwuma no ye mfa nye ye adwuma no we nye nyame adwuma we ye adwuma ni bi nti o mra sa eda no. And of course, like I said, the man revealed the hypocrisy of their hearts. They did not show the love that God showed towards this woman. The woman was just there worshiping with them and nobody cared. But Jesus came and he demonstrated the love of God, which brought this woman liberty, which brought to this woman freedom, which brought this woman healing. And this woman became free forever. But for the Pharisees and the ruler of the synagogue, they were not happy that Jesus healed this man. And you can't blame them because they were protecting their tradition. But they didn't know that the person who gave them that tradition long ago through Moses and told them that keep the Sabbath day holy was the person who was standing right before them. Sometimes when you cling on to traditions so hard that you don't want to let go, you begin to lose sight of the miraculous things that the Lord can do in your presence. The people had clung to the old tradition, Sabbath, 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 Sabbath. They didn't want to let anything go. And in the Sabbath, which was a day to honor God, that which took place was also a situation to honor God. Nanka ni esi ye na se so mo denyame ase. She nyame o awurade dawase. Ye mami, ye emfie du nwotwe na mami anante se ye wontumi ntena nimu. Enne de onyame adum bi atono so. Achacha watene. The church should have jumped on their feet, praising God. Onyame yedawase o, yedawase o, yedawase o, but anya wonfe. Because they were holding on to traditions. May say, if we are not careful and we allow traditions to be before us, we will fail to see the love of God demonstrated in our lives. Traditions are good. They must be upheld. But the traditions, in our demonstration of the traditions, they must reveal the love which Christ shows to all of us. So in Christianity, it's no more of don't touch. It's no more of don't do. It's not more of do or don't. But it is more of people coming face to face with the reality of who God is and living as God expect us to live. So for the people, they were not happy. The statement that Jesus made to the people, when he realized their hypocrisy, he told them, you are hypocrites. He didn't mince words. Mo ye nya atwomfo pa mo. Na nti America se mo ye nya atwom ne se mo. Se tomre bia on Sabbath da no. Mo jai mo mwa. Mo nwan mo ponche mo mo ko adidie ba. Na sa obey oye Abraham asini. What Jesus seemed to be telling the people was that, you see, at this point, you have been so blinded by tradition to such an extent that you value animal life more than this human life. When we allow traditions to blind us, this is what will happen. We will value things that are not of value to things that are of value. And Jesus was not so happy with them. But as for the people, they were satisfied. They did the things that they wanted to do. They said the things that they wanted to say, and they didn't feel any sorry about what they did. But for you and I, we must bear in mind that yes, traditions are good. And that is why for us Presbyterians, whether here or home, our slogan is Ecclesia Reformanda Semper Reformanta. Ecclesia Reformanta Semper Reformanda, meaning it's a Latin word which is translated to mean a church. Once reformed, is always reforming. We are a church which is reformed, and we are always reforming. We are always reforming. We are not stuck to one thing. Pastor Asafo, enya de ba ko de kurem de bia ye be ko general assembly be bia e bi monti ase ada de bia mo kwa no system, because we are always reforming. And we will continue to reform until Christ comes. Typically or traditionally for Presbyterian Church of Ghana, we stand to sing and we sit to pray. That is our tradition. We stand to sing and we sit to pray. But today, we stand to sing and we stand to pray. And there is nothing wrong with it. We come to church and we have the prayer service, which is a service which is organized all over the world. And we pray, we intercede, we pray for ourselves. There are deliverance sessions. That is the Presbyterian Church of Ghana for you. So we cannot sit back and say, we have gone past this. But of course, we are also guarding our tradition. The fact that we say everything doesn't mean everything. There are sometimes people will do excesses and will bring them back on track. You bring them back on track. But for us as a church, where we have gotten to and where we are heading towards, we uphold God's love over and above traditions. So let us all journey along that. Whilst we have our tradition in one hand, we must also have God's love in one hand raised above traditions, so that we can experience the love of God in our lives. Now, PCG has come to this point, and we must all come to this point where we allow the love of God to rule over everything. Now, as I prepare to bring to an end, the second reading draws our attention to something very interesting. The second reading, it gives us two things to compare. The first one, Hebrews 12, 18 to 21. The first session to compare is the people who come to a mountain, a certain type of mountain, and that mountain was dangerous. That mountain was a mountain of fire. That mountain was a type of mountain that even when an animal touches it, that animal will die. And that mountain was a mountain that